Lisa Novak.
Rain, rain, go away. I think we're in for another big bout of rain. Everyone's like, oh, first it was COVID, now it's rain. Um, I say,
What is it?
what is it?
I just can't believe it. It's been. I was talking to a couple of buddies last night about the. It's just. It's been around a very, very long time. Feels like years of it.
Yeah, and we're going to have more for summer. So we're not going to be the Debbie Downers. What we're going to talk about, Mark, is how that's going to be able to benefit you in property. And this is a true story. We're not like, oh, you're just saying that because you guys are real estate agents and you've got to say that. There's actually so many pros at buying a property in the rain. It's incredible. But Mark, I want to talk about, morning, Luke, hope you're well. I want to talk about the buyer numbers that come through now with the rain. So,
Yeah.
obviously we've had a lot of rain the last, let's call it 6 months. But prior to that, it would rain and you'd be like, oh my goodness, I'm going to have like no buyers coming through and I'm going to end up with frizzy hair at the end of my open homes. The buyer numbers actually don't seem to be affected anymore by the rain. It's like COVID. People are like, you know what? It's here to stay. Let's just get on with it. What do you reckon?
Yep. It's a byproduct. We're just getting basically just get on with it. I think is the whereas before you could afford to take off that time and say, you know what, it's raining, so I'm basically going to put that off. But now it's like, no, I'm just going to get on with it and do what I got to do.
That's it.
It's interesting. But Freaky Friday, Lise, what's happened to you this week? You've had you've had 150 people recorded through one open house on Saturday.
I have. Yeah. How
You
crazy. Can you believe? Everyone's talking about how bad the market is. But the numbers don't lie. Actually, a lot of people, Mark, were commenting on the video that we did of all the people running in and out of that open home last Saturday. Yeah. So we had it, or you set up a camera at the open home, and we're just basically recording the people that were coming in and out, nothing specific, but just those buyer numbers. 150 people were recorded coming to that open at number 2 Riddell Street in Manly. Guys, for those of you that don't know that property, it's that beautiful house that's hovering over Manly beachfront. It's got those gun barrel views. I've called it the most iconic property on the Northern Beaches.
That's phenomenal. You even had Lux listing celebrity Michael Cohen come through.
Simon Cohen.
Simon Cohen.
There is a Michael Cohen though. But yes, Simon Cohen came through the open home. I mean, we know Simon. He's an absolute legend. And actually that premieres right now, guys. For those of you that are crazy, real estate reality TV watchers, I think that Lux Listings premiered. Delene also is Delene's a really, really good girlfriend of ours as well. Congratulations to Delene. I don't know if I'm allowed to say this actually.
Just say congratulations.
I'll just leave it there. Congratulations. But anyway, yes, Simon came through and look, here's the thing. A lot of buyers are going, oh my God, there's so many buyers coming through that property and everyone's spooking each other out. Yep. Don't be spooked off by the buyer numbers. So out of the 150 buyers that came through, we had 2 contracts out. 2.
Yeah, you know what? That's really interesting. I have been to auctions where it's been so amped that everyone was just so intimidated that simply not a lot of people actually thought they had a chance. Then it sold for a price which was less than what was in everyone's mind, and everyone was like, why didn't I go to that auction? So it actually does happen. So attending an auction can sometimes really be crushing, but it can also be really uplifting if you buy well, and sometimes it just happens, guys. So I don't know what you'd call that phenomena, but it definitely happens. The mystery of an auction is pretty cool.
So
pretty exhilarating.
Yes, so I was chatting with a buyer the other day on to Riddell Street, and he's possibly considering that he might come along to auction if he can get all his ducks lined up. But it was only after we had that conversation And I said to him, the worst thing you can do if you feel like you're a possible contender is do nothing at all. Because by the time you get to auction day, you know, and you've registered yourself, or sorry, rather you haven't registered yourself, and you're standing there and you're watching all of this unfold going, oh my God, I could have had a good hard crack at this. It's too late then, right? It's too late. The worst thing you can do as a buyer is do nothing and then go, oh my God, I would have bought it at that price. We see it happen all the time.
Do you know we would be one of the most advanced countries in the world of the way we're conducting this sale?
Yeah.
You know, auctions have only been introduced into America a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
For property auctions. I'm not saying introduced at all, but like are widely used and accepted by a community. The way we convey property title is one of the best in the world, with strata title and torrens title. What a lot of people around the world would be really freaked out over is how efficient this process is to getting sold. Where, you know, you're almost expected, like, we're offering comparables on this property from $13 million and upwards, and we're telling everyone in the market you're going to be buying this over the next 3 weeks.
Yeah.
If you want it, turn up with your money, and 6 weeks later we want the rest of your money.
And Mark,
you know, who has that much money in like? I know we think that's common as agents and as Sydney people, but to think that someone has that much money that they can actually complete on a purchase, it's quite diabolical worldwide. That, you know, that expectation's fulfilled all the time and it's called auction.
Oh, absolutely. And you know, look, I've had a lot of locals come through, and yeah, everyone has been, honestly, I'm dealing with the most lovely prospective buyers coming through this property. That community is so tight knit down there in Manly, and they are just the loveliest people. Everyone is happy to have a chat. When I do my callbacks, which take me usually a couple of days to do because there's so many of them, you know, the vast majority just have come through just to have a sticky beat because it's such an iconic property. But they're great because they're helping so much with so much information about the area and pricing, and you know, I love having a chat with these guys. But anyway, I lost my train of thought there.
On balance, some, you know, like 99% of people were just lovely, but there was one or two knobs.
But you get that anyway, don't you? You get that if you walk into a party, Mark. You could say the same thing. You could be at a party for your best friend, right? And you're going to be like, everyone was so lovely, but there was this one absolute, you know, dickhead at the party. That's everywhere.
One guy asked me what I did for a job. Can I explain what I do for my commission? And this is at an open house.
30,
I was like,
30 years of real estate. Cheers.
This isn't going to end well. Let's move on.
Oh, it's funny, isn't it?
What else on Friday Frenzy, Lisa Novak? What else on Friday Frenzy?
I just wanted to
I'm
go
on a
back
farm.
I know, farm boy. How good's that?
Yeah. I'll turn the camera around.
How
At a friend's farm.
Hey, Mark, but I want to get back to that rain topic for a second. This is going to wrap into you being on a farm. So let's talk about the farm and the rain. So this is a great friend of ours who bought a hobby farm. Lots of cars there. He bought a hobby farm and just something he'd wanted to do his whole life. Now, if this sounds like a familiar story and you're watching this at the moment, or you were one of those people during COVID that sold up, and I sold for tons of vendors that wanted to go to these regional areas, which was like still is an awesome idea.
He bought this 5 years ago, though. It was before all the COVID stuff. So he probably got an artificial lift out of it, or more of a lift out of it,
Oh, no doubt. Like, people have still done well with these regional properties. But let's talk about the rain. So what happened there during the rain?
Don't talk about it.
Well, it's actually quite ironic that you happen to be there because I do want to talk about the rain at the moment.
Hawkesbury River, and it's heart-wrenching, heartbreaking stuff what happened here. Like this, when I say went under, it just, you know, the house didn't go under, but a lot of friends in the valley, in the Wiseman's through that right Wiseman's Ferry Gorge.
Yeah.
Their home, they lost their homes. There was fridges, caravans, uh, jet skis, containers, all got taken away out to sea.
Yeah. And look, when
Bloody
you know,
incredible.
I just want to be clear, like that's horrific. I mean, a lot of people
Yeah,
lost everything. So we're
yeah,
certainly not making we're certainly not making a joke out of this. I'm just
no,
talking about what happens to properties during the rain. So areas like where you are now, Mark, close to Wiseman's Ferry, is it, or the Hawkesbury?
yeah.
Right.
Wiseman's Ferry, Hawkesbury, I think same.
Yeah.
It was called
So
Wiseman's Ferry. Yeah,
yeah, I mean, just absolute carnage. I mean,
Hawkesbury River.
our friend's lucky that the house didn't go under, but the house next door it did. And
Yeah,
here's the thing, guys. When you're looking to buy a property, just really do your research. There's
your
plenty
mum,
of areas. What's that?
your mum.
My mum, I'm going to talk about that in just a sec, actually. But there's
Yeah,
plenty of areas on the northern beaches as well that are classified as flood zones. So
yeah,
you really just want to make sure that you are doing your due diligence. Do these houses on the northern beaches get submerged like, our friends out there in Wiseman's Ferry and Hawkesbury and so many other areas? You really do want to make sure that you are doing your due diligence. Um, the thing is buying a property when it's raining, we're not talking about floods anymore, but when it's raining is a wonderful time because everything looks great in the sunshine, right? But in the
mm,
rain, you're actually seeing a property at its absolute worst. So it's a
yep.
really good time to get out and do those open homes. It really is. And also you may, although I'll be honest, the last few months we've seen massive buyer numbers still, but you may very well be seeing less buyers. So you might have less competition at that time. But certainly you're going to be seeing a property at its worst with leaks and things like that. So it's actually a really good time to get out and have a look at property. But just be careful when you're buying in those maybe regional areas because, they do flood significantly, some of them.
And
So you just want
and
to
you
do
know what?
distance.
People's memory was really short about stuff like that. Almost ignorant when they were buying these regional properties that could go under. It happens even a lot in our area. In DY has major flood zones. Narrabeen has major flood zones. People's memories are short until that flood happens. What I'm
Yeah.
surprised with is how resilient the property pricing actually is.
Yeah.
Considering property pricing, you do have to build your property differently when you're in a flood zone. They'll ask you to build above certain water levels or flood levels. But it's amazing how you actually do buy property for a discount when you buy a property in a flood prone area.
Yeah. And I think, look,
But
when a lot of people were buying, and my mum was one of them, I hope she doesn't kill me for saying this, but, mum decided it would be a really good idea a couple of years ago to go buy a little investment property in a regional area. And she
yeah,
picked it up for a great price, awesome property. We flew up there, we had a look at it. We were like, Mum, this is unreal. What's going to happen
yeah,
during floods? And she's like, oh, what do you mean floods? Picked it up at a great price. This was just kind of in the depths of COVID. And anyway, the property, it skyrocketed. I pretty much think she doubled her money in a year. And then the floods came and it flooded. And it was just horrendous. I mean, not only were we not from this area, but seriously struggled to get trades there. I mean, it's still been a nightmare. And actually, it's
yeah.
been such
Tough.
a tricky situation that we're just like, you know what, we're just going to get the property sold. She'll still make decent money on it. But to get the trades and all these things, that was just stuff that I guess mum didn't think of at the time. It was more like, looks cute and think I can make a bit of money, and didn't really think about the whole flood scenario. And so, here we are. But, so just make sure that you are doing your due diligence there, as I said. It's just stuff to consider. But don't not come out to those open homes because it's raining, guys. As I
Yep.
said, everything looks great in the sunshine. You really want to get out and see a property at its worst, without a
If it's
doubt.
leaking, check the flooding, check the flooding, check the flooding.
Yeah.
Anything else on Friday, friends? Before we go, Lisa, you want to discuss
Um,
in your
uh,
week that happened?
yeah, so I listed such a beautiful property this week, Mark, 24 Cootes Crescent in Collaroy.
Oh
Talk
yeah,
about the polar opposite of like checking out properties when they leak and things like that. This is a house in
I've
Collaroy that
never.
is okay, so we'll have to put a link in here, but it's over 3 soaring levels. So back in the 1980s, I think that was built in 1988. At that time, council were allowing properties to be built to a certain much higher level. So this house towers one whole level above anything else in that area, and it's got the most incredible ocean views. But 88,000 bricks went into building the property. Yeah, that's it. It's incredible. I've called it the crown of Collaroy.
But those are
88,000
concrete
bricks.
slabs that you can see there. They're concrete slabs. It's the thickest, chunkiest, hardest core built property I've ever seen in my life. The
Yeah,
thing's bloody. It's a fortress, Lise. It's an
it is.
absolute
It's a
fortress.
fortress. I've never seen a house built like this before. That's
Look
it.
at that staircase internally.
It looks like Westfield Shopping Centre inside, doesn't it? But it is absolutely incredible. 24 Cootes Crescent in Collaroy. Really wanting to hear your buyer feedback on this one as well. Comparable sales that we're giving. They're sort of ranging from the high 3s to the high 4s, just to give you a bit of an idea as to what else we're comparing it to.
Big
Yeah,
views.
enormous views, absolutely enormous views. So, Mark, the house, interestingly, my vendors had gone to Fiji on a holiday back in the 1980s, and they fell in love with this hotel over there. So they decided that they were going to
Oh,
come back and
really?
build it. Yeah. So it's mimicked on a hotel from Fiji.
That's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah. 88,000 bricks. Someone inquired yesterday and said, how do you know that it's got 88,000 bricks? And I said, well, I didn't get my assistant to go and count them. Don't worry. My vendors have told me. Yeah, beautiful property. Absolutely beautiful. 24 Cootes Crescent in
Solid
Collaroy.
as.
Yep. So that's launched this week. What's happening, Mark, with
Yeah,
you?
by the way, to build that, I worked out. I think you're well over $5 to $6 million to build a house like that, cost wise.
Yeah. If you
On
were
a
to,
sloping block, 3 levels, double brick, concrete slabs, 88,000 bricks. Like that
it's
is
nuts.
incredible.
Oh,
That is incredible.
absolutely. I agree. I agree with you. And who wants to do a build these days anyway, when you can buy something like that that can literally
Yeah.
last you? I mean, that house will outlast most of us. It's
Cool. Well, that's
incredible. All
Friday
right.
Frenzy.
That's it, guys.
And I'm very popular here in this farm valley lease.
Oh, do I want to ask
For anyone
why?
who's just tuned in, I'm on a farm with a couple of mates at a friend's farm. I
What did
I
you bring?
pulled in.
Oh, no.
I pulled in. I opened my sunroof and I did this.
Just don't blast it straight into the microphone.
Do you hear that? So
No,
it's
do it
basically
again. Do it again. Do
it's
it
like a
again.
car siren. So what I
They
did is I
used to
put
call
it
him
out.
Mark the Menace, guys.
I put it out of the sunroof, and because it's a valley, I could be heard. Like 5 minutes away. So I turned it on the whole way
Excuse me.
to my mate's house, and then all the neighbours started calling each other. So the next door
No.
neighbours
To see
called
if everything was all
each other
right.
to see if everything was all right.
Oh,
And
my God.
yeah, it's the guys just it was an entrance that will never be forgotten on the farm. Put it that way.
That is hysterical. And everyone's getting a bit older now. So what telling last night, I go, did you have a big night? Did you guys drink a lot? And Mark sends me a video of everyone dozing in and out of sleep.
It's bad. It's really bad.
What happens when you get into your 50s? You're not there yet,
It's
Mark. You
really.
wouldn't know.
My ear's actually gone from that siren, but anyway, no, it's happening. Everyone in their 50s now, so it's terrible. I'm in my 40s, but yeah, it happens.
So were you awake watching them, or were you joining them asleep on the couch?
I was videoing. I'm videoing and I'm sending. Every time someone fell asleep, I videoed it and put it in the chat for them. So
Good. Oh, well, the good news
That's
is
life.
they'll be up bright and early this morning,
That's right.
like old people. See you guys. Have a great weekend. Oh, long
Have a
weekend, double
great weekend.
demerits. Have a wonderful long weekend, everybody.
Again, when the double demerits start already?
I don't know. They'll just
They
check
probably would have
online.
already started.
Probably.
Ooh.
Yeah.
All right. Love ya. Friday Frenzy.
See you
Everyone, thank
guys.
you for watching. See ya.
Bye.
Bye-bye.